right, let's go ahead and put everybody on mute, please. If everybody can put themselves on mute, that'd be amazing.
Your sound just went, JC, your sound just went bad.
What about now? Can anybody hear me?
It's still hollow.
That's weird. Anybody else? Everybody else having the same feedback?
Echo.
Yeah.
Echo.
Yeah, your sound is not coming very far away.
Try putting
you
mute.
sound like
and
10 miles
unmute.
away.
You sound muffled.
It just picked up another speaker or something, another microphone.
What about now?
Yeah.
Now good.
It's better?
Yeah, good.
Okay, good. Let's make it happen. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, now I hear myself twice. What's going on here? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. Let me go ahead and leave on my phone. Gonna make that one assign and leave. Okay, here we are. Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up, Ramsey. You can hear me okay? Yep. Okay, good. All right, let's make it happen. So here's the deal. We've got, I've been talking about this. And ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to building a business, it is important that you develop leaders, right? A leader develops leaders, right? If you've got a leader that only has followers, that's not a real leader. That's not a high caliber leader. Part of the thing about leadership is duplicating speakers. We are in the business of sales and recruiting. So therefore, a public speaker training is something that a lot of people have been wanting for a long time. So the 21st of this month, I am doing a public speaker training in person here in Downey, California. I will say this, it is open for free to any and all Powur reps. People that are not in Powur pay $100 to attend this training, just so you guys get it. Those of you that bought the Top Mentor Academy, more than likely, I'm checking on my video guy. I'm trying to get this whole thing recorded, and it will be added to the Top Mentor Academy as well. So in this speaker training, Jessica shortly is going to share the link. Throughout this meeting, she's going to share the Eventbrite link for free. So, but here's the deal. Only register to this event if you are actually going to show up. 100% going to show up. If not, do not take that ticket because there's very limited tickets. I think there's like 15 to 20. So you want to make sure that you register if you are going to make it. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to about 12:30 or 1 p.m. It's roughly 3-hour training. So it's going to be on communicating skills, on how to properly public speak, on the format of public speaking, on creating your story for public speaking, self-confidence formula for public speaking. And we're going to role play there. So it's going to be a very powerful training. And I think public speaking is a very, very important trait that any entrepreneur, any sales professional should do, especially in our business. So you want to make sure that you register for that. Those of you guys that are outside of Cali, sorry, this is a live event, right? And I wasn't going to make it free, but I said, I'm going to sell it to people outside of Powur, and people that are in Powur, I'm going to do it for free. It will be available for purchase for the recorded version will be $49 on its own. Those of you guys that got the Top Mentor Academy, it'll be included in the Top Mentor Academy as well. So anyways, Mondays and Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You guys know this training, Building with Bobby, Fridays at 9 a.m. Those of you guys that don't know about the Top Mentor Academy, simple. It is a training that I did. By the way, some of you guys may not know that bought it. As of a week ago, 5 additional training videos were added to it. So the Top Mentor Academy, I included my Bulletproof Mindset training in there and all of the secrets that it took for me to become Top Mentor 2021, Top Mentor 2022. It is all in there. It's roughly about 5 to 6 hours of training combined between everything. There's still 5 more training segments coming to that training. But right now, you already have 5 hours worth of stuff. It is the most powerful, most complete training that I've ever done for this particular business. And every video is like 5 to 7 minutes long and has questions at the end. So you cannot go to the next segment until you first pass the test for that particular one. So anyways, that's topmentoracademy.com. The public speaker training will be added to the Top Mentor Academy. So for those of you guys that are not local, but if you got the Top Mentor Academy, so that's how it's going to be. I'm going to keep adding things to the Top Mentor Academy as things go on, just to show you guys some love. So you're not on the Top Mentor Academy, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Okay, just kidding. It just sounded funny. Let's make it happen. Disregard this. That's an old slide here. There's 3 handsome gentlemen there, right? But disregard it. So we're going to talk about the 8-point system. But before that, I want to get into some good reminders, okay? Here's one of the beautiful things I love about this business. The cash flow quadrant. You got the employee, the self-employed on the left. Then on the right side of the quadrant, you've got the big business and the investor. Here's the difference, ladies and gentlemen. On the left side of the quadrant, the employee and the self-employed, you're trading time for money. However, on the right side of the quadrant, people and systems make you money with the big business. And then as an investor, your money makes you money, right? Think about this. In the Powur platform, we have the opportunity to build our own business, right? Last week, my team had 33 installs for the week. Not too shabby. 33 installs for the week last week, right? That I did not get all. I think 2 of those installs were mine that I closed for myself and for a mentee. The other 31 came from my organization. You are able to build a business within a business here and have people make you money. Other people's efforts make you money through systems. A McDonald's is a perfect example. Every time I talk about this, I always mention the McDonald's example. This is so important that you guys understand. Okay, guys? It's called pods, okay? Points of distribution. How many points of distribution do you have? The more salespeople you have in your organization, the more pods you have in your organization, the more points of distribution. My team is roughly about 1,600 total team members in my organization. So what happens is it doesn't just rely on me to go out there and make sales. Is it not true that a Starbucks or a McDonald's, I'm not a fan of McDonald's, I haven't been there in years, okay? But is it true or not true that when you pass through one McDonald's or one Starbucks, you're getting closer to the next one? Yes, right? You're getting closer to the next one. That is because their philosophy is they have a lot of points of distribution and they're in the real estate business as well, right? Well, you could do something similar to that here, where you build a sales organization and you make overrides by helping, training them, connecting them to the system, supporting them. And eventually people like that, for example, I got some great people on my team, like Ramsey Clark is a perfect example. He doesn't really need my help. He's self-sufficient. Now, if he wants my help and needs it, I'll be here, right? But then you got people like Jonathan Espinal, like Louis Rangel, right? Like Mari Cruz, right? They don't need my help, but of course, he's always here. But they're out there building a business with or without me. Then eventually, what if you get your business to the point where it's successful and you got extra money? How many people like the idea of having too much money at the end of the month? By a show of hands, too much money at the end of the month. How many of you guys like that idea? Great. How many of you guys do not like the idea of too much month at the end of the money? Does that make sense? The month is up, money's gone. All right, got to figure this things out. I know that I've been there in the past. Maybe some of you guys have as well. Well, what if you got the point where you're like, okay, my bills are paid. Every month, more money is stacking up. Maybe I should become an investor. If you build the business right, you can get to that point. Now you can have your money make you money, right? Now, here's a couple of things that are very interesting about this cash flow quadrant. 5% of all the wealth is on the left. People that are employees or self-employed. Self-employed, maybe somebody that owns a store, right? Maybe a realtor, meaning that they're still trading their time for money, right? Let's say you own a convenience store. Well, you have a business, but there's not a system attached to it. It's a small business that depends on you to perform. If you're a realtor, it depends on you to perform. If you're a solar pro, without any leverage, without a leverage opportunity, it depends on you to perform. If you do not perform, you do not eat. You eat what you eat what you kill. So that is the left side. 5% of the wealth is on the left. 95% of the wealth is on the right. So how many people would like to be on the right side of money? Not only the correct side of money, but the right side of this quadrant. Here's why. Because the numbers also flip. 95% of the population is on the left with 5% of the wealth. 5% of the population are on the right. With this business, you start off on the left. You are self-employed, tier 1. Tier 1 and tier 2, you're on the left. But from a tier 1, you can start building a team. See, when I was a tier 1, Before I even became a tier 2, I already had 20 people on my team. I was already experiencing the leverage because even though I wasn't closing their sales yet before I was a tier 3, other mentors were closing their sales and I was making override income. So you could start on the left as a self-employed, but you could start building a business with people and systems from day one with this business. Because imagine only 5% of the population is on the right side of the quadrant, but that's where 95% of all of the wealth is. You have those opportunities. Not only that, you have the opportunity to earn stock options with the company as a part of the comp plan, right? So very, very important that we see that. So OPM, this is from the book Think and Grow Rich, other people's money. Rich people use other people's money to make money, other people's efforts and experience. You guys, if you build a team and you connect them to the Monday trainings, the Tuesday trainings, the corporate trainings, you're using other people's experience, other people's efforts to train your team. This is a part of the system. And OPI, other people's ideas. These trainings are other people's ideas. The company is other people's ideas, right? So many things. So you want to leverage, you want to be smart about your business and leverage these things. So let's get into a DMO, okay? And then we're going to get into the 8-point system right after this. This particular DMO, ladies and gentlemen, is not the DMO for everybody. As a matter of fact, this is not the DMO for most of you. However, for those of you guys that are full-time, let's clear something up. There is a major difference between being unemployed and being full-time. Some people are unemployed and they are in the power business. Therefore, they say that they are full-time in power. But that's not true, right? They're simply unemployed, but they also participate in power. That's okay. Not criticizing it, not knocking it. But here's my point. For those of you guys that are full-time and you want to achieve big things, here is the Savage's activity. This is the Savage activity. 30, 30, 30, or at the very least 20, 20, 20. What does that mean? Get your workout in 1 hour per day, 4 or 5 days a week is what I recommend. But then 30 calls to realtors. It doesn't have to be realtors. It could be roofers. It could be whatever niche you're looking for. It could be insurance agents. It could be home security people. Doesn't matter. 30 phone calls, your outbound calls, 30 social media messages, and 30 prospecting conversations daily. I don't care how you do that. If you do that through door knocking, if you do that through visiting new homeowners, through cold calling, calling leads, networking events, I don't care. But you want, it's a 30, 30, 30, very minimum 20, 20, 20. All of these make them 20, 20, 20, right? So let's look at some examples. If you are part-time, write this down. For those of you guys that are part-time, those of you guys that are watching this in the recording, write this down. I work my job 9 to 5, and I work my business from 5 to 9. You build your boss's dream from 9 to 5, but you build your and your family's dream from 5 to 9. Does that make sense? How many people is this resonating with? Okay. Now, I know what some people are thinking. Wow, JC, that's a lot to ask for. 9 to 5 on my job, 5 to 9 on my business. However, what you need to understand is this. That is not forever. You build this business part-time till your part-time efforts make you enough income to offset your full-time income, and eventually you make a transition if you want to. Some of you guys love your job and you're never going to make a transition. You just use Powur for extra money. Perfectly fine. But I'm giving you an example. In the beginning, yes, you're going to have to, for a season, to dedicate some of this extra time. So if you're part-time, the numbers would go 15, 15, 15, or 10, 10, 10. Okay. So we're cutting the numbers in half, right? We're cutting the numbers in half. So, but if you do this consistently, and I'm just giving you an example, in the 8-point system, you're going to get a better idea. I'm going to give you a real part-time effort of activities that you can follow on a daily basis. I guarantee you, if you follow those activities for 1 straight year, your business would be in a significantly better place than it would be had you not followed them. And here's another thing that I want you to know about the 8-point system, which is a part of the system. The 8-point system is something that is easily duplicated by anybody, part-time or full-time. That means that anybody can be successful. if they apply themselves, but most people will not. And that's just the name of the game, and that's fine. Okay, so let's keep it moving. Okay, so let's talk about the daily method of operation, right? Calls to realtors. Whether you're part-time or full-time, adjust your numbers accordingly. But I'm giving you an example of what I would say. Let's say, for example, from 9 a.m. to 11:30, 2.5 hours, I'm going to fire off phone calls to realtors, right? I call Jason, realtor Jason. Jason answers and say, hey, Jason, how you doing? My name is JC Rangel with Powur Solar. Listen, the reason why I'm reaching out to you is because I'm reaching out to realtors to see if they're currently working with a solar professional yet. Are you currently working with a solar professional? Jason says no. Okay, that's fine. Jason, would it be okay if I email you some information regarding my company, how we work with a lot of realtors to help a lot of their customers? Look, I would say probably 1 out of 7, maybe even 1 out of 10 will be receptive to what you're saying. Doesn't matter. If 1 out of 7 says, yeah, I'm open to it, send me some info, that means that out of 30, you're going to get 3 to 4 people that are interested daily, that are open to seeing what you are all about daily. That is not a big percentage. But see, I have to tell you that because some people that don't have experience with this think if I make 30 phone calls to realtors, probably 15 are going to be interested. And I have to manage your expectations. That's not how it goes. That would be too easy. But see, if I manage your expectations accordingly, then you're going to be more successful because you're going to know, okay, got it. A lot of these people, they're not going to answer. But that's why it is an apple per day that keeps a doctor away. It is not 7 apples on Sunday. It is an apple per day. It isn't 30 calls on Monday and 30 calls on Thursday. Then you take 2 weeks off. Then you do another 30 calls. If you could get to understand this, and let me recommend a book while I'm at it. There's 2 books that I recommend that you get. Either one is fine. You don't have to necessarily get them both. But I think after you read one, you'll want to read the other one. The Compound Effect by Dan Hardy. The Compound Effect by Dan Hardy. The other one, which is my favorite, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. They teach the same concept, by the way. It's the same concept. They call it different things. At the end of the day, it's the same concept. To me, I'm biased towards The Slight Edge because that was my mentor in 2003. The Slight Edge. And I teach some of you guys that went to Mentor Factory, you saw me teach on The Slight Edge briefly. Okay. The point being is this. It is he talks about, and you guys hear me say this all the time, it is a persistent daily actions that seem to make no difference at all in the act of doing them that repeated over an extended period of time will create success. For example, some of you guys started your videos to start because I put you on blast. Now your videos are off, right? That is a little example of, hey, be persistent, get on here and pay attention. And here's mainly why I do that. When your video's off, we don't know what you're doing. You could be out there making yourself a sandwich instead of dedicating an hour to success. Hey, you got a guy here that earns multiple 6-figure income without lifting a finger, without working, that's going to train us every Monday for about an hour. Maybe I should pay attention and be focused for about an hour. If I say that I want success, I don't know, guys. I don't know. This is my thoughts. Does that make sense? So you got to be persistent and consistent. Why? Because not every day is going to be a good day. I'll give you guys an example. Saturday, I took my son to jiu-jitsu. It was a hard day for my son that day. Everybody beat him and submitted him at training to the point that he was desperately, the time was running out on his last match, and he was desperately shooting for takedowns. They put him down. Then he gets up and he's 9 years old. And he's frustrated and he starts crying out of the frustration. I tell him, son, this is a character building day. Sometimes you're the hammer. Sometimes you're the nail. Today you were the nail. You were getting hammered. They were beating you. They were submitting you. They were catching you and stuff. Sometimes you are sending people to the line, submitting them, beating them over and over and over. This is how life works. Nothing worthwhile having is going to be easy. Today is, in moments like this, is where you show what kind of person you really are. Not when you're winning. It's easy to have a good attitude when you're winning. When you are the nail, how do you show up? How do you represent yourself and your family and your last name? Ladies and gentlemen, that's why we got to be consistent, because you might have Monday through Thursday that are bad days. But Friday, you got a realtor that says to you, you know what, man, the last call on Friday, you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that to me. I've noticed that in this year, at least 10 of my customers have gone solar. And I realize they're going to go with or without me. So yeah, maybe it does make sense for me to find out how I can make some money on referring them to a good company. How would you feel that you'd be like, oh my God, I'm so excited. But you're never going to get to that call if you don't have the right mindset from the beginning. You had a bad day Monday. Tuesday wasn't very good. Wednesday, hardly anybody answered. Thursday wasn't very much different. But Friday, you got that one realtor that's like, I'm open. Then sends you a couple of numbers to call. Hey, if I give you a couple of numbers, Isabel, will you call them? Let them know that I'm saying to call them. And that's one thing I teach. Sometimes I get realtors that are interested, but they're not proactive to call. Then I go being the proactive savage that I am, because I am a savage. I am not a regular person. See, some of you guys may listen to this and think this guy's arrogant. That's not what I'm doing. I guarantee you, the Creator's my witness. I'm not doing it out of arrogance. My point is I am constantly telling my subconscious mind what I am and what I am not, especially what I am. And my subconscious mind hears it so much that it will begin to believe what I am telling it. And therefore, what it does is it creates my identity, because we all have an identity that we've created of ourselves. Most 99% of people created that identity of themselves unconsciously. They unconsciously created that identity of themselves. That identity is, I'm not good enough. I'm a procrastinator. I'm this, I'm that. Unconsciously, their identity. So when you have to understand this. What you constantly say to yourself, conscious or unconscious, you are shaping the person you are, the identity that you have of yourself. And the way that you see yourself is the way that you will show up with others. The way you see yourself, you will show up with others, with your customers, with your prospects, with your team. The way you see yourself, you will show up to others. I'm telling you, some people, it's going to take them years to realize, wow, that was so true. I thought this guy was just talking some hocus pocus mumbo jumbo. Turned out he was actually right. Right. And most people, they're just not coachable to actually see that. So I'm giving you a lot of things here. You're not going to catch everything. You're not supposed to catch everything. I did this training like 3-4 months ago, by the way. Some of you guys were on that very training. You don't even realize that you already been on this same training. Or maybe you realize you did see this training, but you're catching something different the second time than you did the first time. And let me tell you something. That's how it works. So let's keep it moving. What makes you different? Well, I'm a solar broker, and because of this, I could offer my customers not only the best pricing, James, but also the best equipment and the best warranties. And by the way, we have a great referral program for our realtor partners as well. You could earn anywhere from $1,000 to about an average of $4,000 per any referral, just for simply referring them to us. See, if they ask you this, this is what's called a buying question. This is called, I am interested. Tell me more, right? Now, what if you practice this script, and what if you already said this script with 100 realtors? What if this very reply you already said with 100 realtors? Would it flow off the tongue easier? Yes. Repetition, repetition. The mind forgets, the body remembers. You don't have to think about it. You've said it a million times. So it's easy. It comes, then it makes you look like the authority, because over the phone, they don't know who you are. They don't know that you're a new person 3 months in the business. All they know is this guy or this girl sounds sharp, like they know what they're talking about. I asked them a couple of questions. They know what they're talking about. Then when you send them the information, guess what? You got the credibility of the company. You're looking good. But you give me somebody that has 3 years of solar experience, that knows all the ins and outs of solar and how solar panels work and the warranties and the benefits to the customer and all that stuff, with no discipline and not coachable, or versus a new person that is 3 months in the business, not 3 years in the business, that doesn't know all the ins and outs of solar, hasn't even sold their first sale, but they listen to me and they follow this persistently and consistently for the next year, that person in a year will outproduce the 3-year-old veteran. 100%. You want to know how I know this? That's exactly what I did in 2021. I didn't get my first sale till June or July 2020. In 2021, I outsold everybody in the company. I did it again in 2022. 2023, I'm not focused on sales. I'm focused on training and developing and recruiting. That's my focus. I got 40-something sales still. I'm going to get another sale today. My wife has a lead that she got from putting a booth at like a fitness event. They have booths. She put a booth there. She got like 3 leads, right? We already got 2 bills for them. I'm still closing, but that's not my focus. I'm telling you, and some people, it's going to take them a year from now. They're going to hear a similar message or the very same message. And they're going to say, I'm going to actually do it now. I've already wasted a year. I've wasted 2 years here in Powur. I'm going to get my act together. And then, boom, they're going to see a difference. It's just what it is. It took me a couple of years to get my act together. Okay. So here we go. Let's say, for example, the 30 social media messages, right? Across all platforms, right? Comment, like, add, message. CLAM, that is the acronym. Comment, like, add, message. You want to be on these people's radar, right? You want to be on the radar. So let's say, for example, Facebook, when I add somebody, okay, let's say the guy's name is JC, right? Hey, thanks for that, JC. I hope you're crushing in the real estate business. Let's say I added Bill. Bill's a realtor. Keller Williams realtor. I noticed that he accepted my request, because if you message, for example, on Facebook, people that are not friends with you, it goes to a private inbox that most people don't even know they have a private inbox. Okay. So I have to constantly check my private inbox because I get a bunch of people that send me messages asking about Powur, because I put myself out there. I'm on every platform talking about Powur. So I recruit on the internet because of it. So I got a lot of messages in Instagram and on Facebook to my private inbox. So let's say I see that Bill added me. All I'm going to do is show up on Bill's radar. I'm not going to show up like a advertising and pitch guy. I'm going to simply say, hey, Bill, thanks for the ad. I hope you're crushing in the real estate business. Cheers, my friend. Simple. But if I look professional, he just added me, there's a likelihood that he's going to look at my online business card. What is my online business card? My Facebook profile, my Instagram profile. Very likely, he's going to click and see, what's this dude about? And if he sees that I'm talking about installs, I'm talking about business, I'm a real person, I'm posting about my family, right? But now, later, I can message them again to introduce myself and my business formally. But in the beginning, I'm just showing up on his radar. And what do I do? If it's on Instagram, you could turn on notifications. You could go, let's say Bill's a realtor on Instagram, and you follow them and you message them, right? And you guys follow each other. You could turn on notifications for him. That means that whenever he posts, you could see his stuff consistently. So you could comment, like, add, and message. Okay. So that's just an example on social media. 30 of them. It's not that much. Let's say from 11:30 to 12:30, you take an hour to send 30 messages. You are a robot. I know that doesn't sound, very nice, but it is. People, if you look at like a bodybuilder, the reason why these dudes are so big and strong is because they treat themselves like a robot. They have their meals planned. They even weigh their food. They have their workouts planned out. Something at the gym, I see these guys are super big. They have a notepad. They have like how many reps, what exercise to do and how many reps of it, how much break in between. They already know what they're going to eat. They even weigh the food. They're like a robot. I am saying this is not for everybody. But see, does this mean that you have to do it like this or that this much of it? No, I'm giving you an example. Maybe some of you guys are going to go out there and do 5-5-5. That's fine. You're super part-time. You want to do 5-5-5. Fair enough. Okay, let's keep it moving. 30 conversations daily via prospecting. So let's say you go door knocking. Let's just keep it simple. You go door knocking or you set up a booth at a gym or at some location and you're prospecting. Your goal is to have 30 conversations that day. Those of you guys that go door knocking, let's say you go door knocking for 4 hours. Okay. And I think solar is so easy, ladies and gentlemen, that most people that door knock for solar don't do 4 hours when they should do 4 hours. Because when you get decent at it, you could go out there and go door knock for 2-3 hours and get a couple leads and then call it a day. But I think 4 hours is a bare minimum that I would recommend, right? That I would recommend, unless you got a bunch of business. And I get it. You only got a couple of hours because you got appointments to do. Fair enough. That makes total sense. But anyways, your goal is 30 conversations. So let's get into the 8-point system, okay? This is for anybody and everybody. This is a game. We've gamified the system. What are the activities that are the productive activities for you to do? So you got to generate 8 points a day. Most people are used to 8 points a day. 8 hours a day they work, right? 40 hours a week. We're going to go 8 points a day, 40 points a week. So let's keep it going. So the 8-point system. Here's a glance. Let me show you the glance. Attend training or opportunity meeting. Guess what? Mondays, you got 2 points automatically. You attend the training, you already got a point. Congratulations. You attend the opportunity webinar tonight at 5 p.m. Get 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You got another point. Personal development, 1 point. I recommended a couple of books, right? Maybe you listen to a podcast. Maybe you listen to an interview of a solar pro, whatever the case may be. Personal development, 30 minutes of personal. How much personal development, by the way, do I recommend? 30 minutes of a good audio or 10 pages of a good book of personal development. The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. Or I think Dan Hardy. What was the name? Dan Hardy. What was the name of the book? The Compound Effect by Dan Hardy. Okay. Those are 2 books I recommended today. So 10 pages or 30 minutes of a good audio. So door-to-door prospecting or any kind of prospecting, every hour that you are prospecting is 1 point. So for those of you that go door, like I know my brother's probably going to go door knocking 3-4 hours today. That's 3 to 4 points he's going to generate today. I don't care about the amount of leads or appointments you got. If you're following the system and you're doing, all you can control is 2 things. You hear me say this all the time. Your attitude and your actions. That's it. You cannot control how many people are going to open the door, how many people you're going to pitch. You could control the attitude you go into it with and how much of the proper activity you do. That's what winners know. Winners know, look, man, oh, today I got 0 leads. But here's the important question. Did I go out there with a great attitude? And did I do the right activities for the day? Yes, great. I can go to sleep tonight feeling accomplished. The biggest thing that you've got to conquer is self. Write that down. The biggest thing you've got to conquer is self. Know when you're slacking off and when you don't need to beat yourself up. Let's say, for example, today you call 30 realtors. You only talked to 2 of them. Nobody answered. You talked to 2 of them, and they told you to go kick rocks. You sent a couple messages. Nobody messaged you back. You went door knocking for 3 to 4 hours, and you got no bills, no real good leads. But at the end of the day, you ask yourself, did I do the right activities with the right attitude today? Yes. Awesome. I feel great about it. You know why? Because that's all that I can control, my attitudes and my actions. But if you do that consistently and persistently, you'll have days where out of your 30 calls, you talk to 15 people and you got 3 to 4 people, the realtors that say, yeah, I'm interested. Sounds good. My clients are going solar. Boom. Then you got a couple of people that reply to your messages today, plus messages from a couple of days ago, and you got 3 bills on the field. And you're like, whoa, what a difference today from yesterday. But you earned it. You know why? Because the sleep of a laboring man is sweet. He who rolls up his sleeves shall never lose his shirt. The reason why is because you paid the price yesterday and success is watching you. They said, oh, you paid the price and you had a good attitude. You got nothing, but you had a good attitude. You did it again and you had a good attitude. Then you showed up again. And they say 95% of success is showing up. So therefore, whatever you believe in, I call it the creator, what most people call God, right? He is blessing me. Some of you guys may say the universe, whatever your beliefs are, right? They are blessing me Awesome. Why? Because you are persistent and consistent and you focus on the two things you have control over, my attitude and my actions. I'm giving you the actions. So every hour prospecting, 1 point. Prospecting, following up, or three-way calls, right? So check this out. Every hour of prospecting is 1 point. But when you actually prospect somebody, so let's say I meet Bill at the grocery store and we strike up a conversation and I ask him, what do you do? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. And I prospect them that I'm in the solar business, whether it's to recruit or to sell, that is 2 points. When I follow up on a lead, that is 2 points. When I do a three-way phone call, that is another 2 points. Let's say Bill looked at the business. He's got questions. I do a three-way call with somebody in my leadership. That is what the three-way call would be for, 2 points. If you get a utility bill, that is 2 points. You get an ambassador, that is 3 points. You go to a networking group like a BNI or Chamber of Commerce, that's 3 points. When you present the program to somebody, even if it's third party, meaning, let's say tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, you get a guest on there to look at the business. What if you get 3 guests on there? Well, you got 4 points per guest, my friend. You just got 12 points for the day. But you attended the training, that's another point. So that's 13. For the simple fact of you attending the opportunity webinar, that's another point. You got 14 points for the day. So let's say somebody attended training and the opportunity meeting, they did their personal development, that's 3 points, right? They went prospecting for 2 hours, okay? That's another 2 points, that's 5. And they had 1 guest on the opportunity webinar. That is another 4 points, that's a total of 9 points. Right? If you got an ambassador, that's 3 points. I mentioned that. If you present the program to somebody, whether they sign up or not, 3 points. If you tag a mentor and schedule an appointment with the homeowner, 4 points. If you get a sale or a recruit, that is 5 points. So check this out. What if I get Bill and Hector on the Zoom tonight? I got a point for attending the Zoom. I got 4 points for each one of them. And let's say Bill doesn't join, but Hector does join. So I got 4 points for getting them both on 4 and 4. That's 8 points. I got a point for attending the webinar myself. That is 9 points. But then Hector joins a business. That is 5 points. I just generated 13 points for the day with those activities. Okay? This is not something that is very hard to do. But here's what I want you to think about. What if, let me get a pen, Jessica, please. What if you, a year from now, thank you very much. What if a year from now, you've developed a team of 100 people, which is not a lot of people to develop in a year. Let's say you got 10 that got 10. So that's 110 people. Let's just call it 100, an even 100. Let's say 15% of these people, which is 15, are focused on 8 points daily. So 15 people times 8 equals what? 80, 120. That's 120 points generated in your group plus your 8. So 128 points generated in your group on a daily basis. What would that do to your business? You got 128 points. People are attending trainings and meetings. People are doing personal development. People are out there prospecting. They know every hour prospecting, I'm going to get a point. I'm 5 points shy. I'm going to stay on the field for 5 hours to get my 5 points. Right? They're following up because every follow-up is 2 points. They're focused on the daily task. So here's one thing I want you guys to consider. Here's the way it works. Okay? It isn't about the activity I do, but I got to start it. I got to lead the way. It is about the activity that I will duplicate in my organization. Okay? And if you're able to say to somebody, hey, check this out, David. What I did is I started part-time, I had a full-time job, and I was working this business 3 to 4 days per week. And those 3 to 4 days per week, bro, I focused on generating my 8 points. So I made my list, and I knew that all of these phone calls that I was, by the way, when you make your list, let's say you make a list of 100 people and you call them with the script that we give you in the Fast Start training, every call you are making that you talk to somebody is a point. You're prospecting, right? Every single call that you're doing. So if I share with David, I started 3 days, 4 days per week, David. Here's what I did. My focus was 8 points a day. Here's the activities I focused on. Then I eventually was able to get a couple of sales, get the ball rolling. I was able to bring a couple of people. My first year, I only have 5 people on my team, David. I only have 5 people on my team, but I was a tier 3. A year into it, I only have 5 people on my team, but I was able to become a mentor. Now I was able to dedicate more time. Year 2, I ended up with 45 people on my team. Not crushing it by any means. I personally had in 11 weeks, 40 people on my team, my first 11 weeks. So I'm talking about by the end of year 2, you got 45, 50 people on your team, but you're a tier 2. But the reason why things, and that, again, that's not that particular example, nobody's breaking any records there. But the consistency of somebody that is part-time, focused on the right activities over an extended period of time will create success. You cannot tell me that if you go out there and you follow a good diet 6 days a week, you give yourself 1 day a week to, have a cheap meal, and you work out 5 days a week for 1 hour, and you drink 8 cups of water daily, and you cut back on, the sugar and the carbs. You cannot tell me that I'm not going to see a difference in the way that you look in 1 year. It's impossible. It is impossible. People will notice. So here's my point to finish this off. When we mention the 8-point system, I'm going to share one last thing. When I mention the 8-point system, it is not hard to do. As a matter of fact, it's pretty simple to do. It just requires discipline. Here's a problem. It's easy to do. The problem is that it's easier not to do. It is easier not to do. So watch this. Since we're on here and it's on this PowerPoint, I'm going to go. Look, notice what I have here. The slide edge, by the way. Not going to talk about the slide edge today. Here's a challenge for you. 10-penny challenge. We're going to wrap up with the 10-penny challenge. Okay, here's a 10-penny challenge. You text 10 people per day using the recommended script. Okay. Comment on 10 social media posts per day. By the way, if those of you that don't know the script, somebody put the website on here, teamfreedomtraining.net. Go to the novice modules. The very first thing, you got a Google document sheet there that has all the scripts. So text 10 people per day with the recommended script. Comment on 10 social media posts per day. Connect with 10 people on social media per day. 10 new people you want to connect with, right? You want to comment on 10 people's posts. Okay. This will fill your pipeline to facilitate 1 meaningful conversation per day. Your goal is 1 meaningful conversation per day. You want to repeat that pattern for 1 year. There is no success without consistency. No success. This isn't a lottery ticket. I don't teach the lottery ticket success. I teach the consistent and persistent method to success. Repeat this pattern for a year, you set yourself up for economic success. What do I mean? Let's look at some examples. Your goals, okay, for this, let me move this out the way, it's blocking. I can't see what it says. Goals is success. So here's what the goals are. 1, solar discussion daily. 1, business discussion daily. If you're part-time, let's look at this real quick. Come on, man. If you're part-time, you could do this. Does it require you to get outside of your comfort zone? Yes, it does. Because that's how it works in this universe. On this planet, this is how it works. So it does require you to get outside of your comfort zone, but is it doable? Absolutely. Your goal, 1 solar discussion daily, 1 business discussion daily. So let's look at the numbers, okay? That would be roughly 360 conversations per year. Does that mean that you can have 1 every single day? No, some days you might have 2. Some days you might end up in 0, but you make up 2 or 3 the next day, right? But let's say 360 conversations daily. Notice, I'm not going to exaggerate some numbers here. So check this out. Let's say 1 out of 5 of those conversations result in an electric bill. Originally, I got this PowerPoint from Charles Thompson. It was 1 out of 3 result in an electric bill. I said, no, I'm going to make it 1 out of 5. 1 out of 5. Out of that 1 out of 5 that result in an electric bill, a third of them, 1 out of 3 of those result in a contract. Okay, so 360 days. It shouldn't be a third, by the way. It's a fifth. I didn't edit that part out. So if you divide 360 by 5 equals 72. Okay, 72 bills, 120. Sorry, out of these here, out of the 72, I did not edit the 120 either. So matter of fact, I'm going to do it in front of you right now. Let's bring this up here. This is a fifth of them, 72. Out of the 72, 24 contracts. 24 contracts at an average of $7,000 is $168,000. $168,000. So we're gonna go. Let's look at this one more time. 360 conversations per year. A fifth result in electric bill. Out of those bills, a fifth of them result in electric bill. A third of them result in a contract. So that's 360 days. A fifth of them equals 72 bills. Out of those 72 bills, a third of them end up in a contract. That's 24 contracts at $7,000. That is 158,000. What if you got that half right? What if you got it half right? You're still at what, $84,000? If you got it 0.25% right, 25% right, you're still at what, 40-something thousand. That is part-time with the 10 penny challenge. It is not the hardest thing to do. It is not the hardest thing to do. But here's what is hard for most people: to be consistent at anything. Consistency. I'll tell you one thing that's going to help this out. Your level of consistency will be impacted drastically by your level of personal development. The level of personal development that you engage in. Success, I say this all the time, success is something you attract by the person you become. And I say this next part all the time as well, because it applies. If you could have what you wanted to have, achieve what you wanted to achieve, being the person that you currently are today, you would have already had it. You would already had them. If you could achieve what you want to achieve, being the person you are today, you'd already have it. You got to grow. This every Monday is a growing session. But you got to do, what is the growth you're doing in between? What are the books and podcasts that you're listening to? How many of you guys are going to attend the free, those of you locals? How many of you guys are going to invest? Guys, you guys realize I'm not charging you for that train. Doesn't matter to me. There's no financial incentive. That means that the train, the Saturday, October 21st, I take my son to jiu-jitsu every day. That includes Saturday mornings. That means that I'm going to give up my day with my son at jiu-jitsu to train some of you guys. And I'm not getting paid for it. I'm not charging you for it. To me, that is important. I grew up without a father. I promise I'm going to be the best dad in the world. So my time is extremely valuable because I want to give value. I want to develop leaders. And I know there's a whole bunch of people. There's going to be a few that really say, JC, I want it. How many of you that are local? I know a lot of you guys here are not local. How many of you guys are going to come to the training that I'm doing for 3 hours on October 21st? By show of hands, or put it in the chat. Okay, good. I see one person right now. Lewis is saying he's going to show up. And by the way, I know that more than half of you are not local. Okay. So Maricruz is showing up. Good. It's how to be a better public speaker. Well, I'm going to train on how to be a public speaker. I've done training. So you guys know, a lot of you guys know, right? David is coming. Good. It's a free training, guys. It's a free training. If you were not in Powur, you'd pay $99 for that training, by the way. So the ticket, the Eventbrite link is on the chat. It's absolutely free. Come and hang out for 2.5 to 3 hours on how to learn how to become a better public speaker. So with that being said, hope you guys like this, got value from this. This training, as always, will be on the YouTube channel within an hour, okay? And we're going to make it happen, guys. So I appreciate you guys. Have a good day. Let's have a great week. Let's go out there and crush it. Let's go out there and actually apply some of this stuff. And one more thing. There's a lot that was taught today. I'm going to say this advice for today's training and for every training. I'm not asking you to get everything from it and apply everything from every training. That's impossible. You got to get what is something that applies to you and your business today that you can start applying today. Not everything that we shared here today is going to be for you. I want to make that clear. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys. Have a good day.